A brand new hero, a revamped badges system, and level 16 elite barbarians? That's right, it's update season. Let's start things off with a revamped badges system. On the very surface, this is a rework of the whole badges system currently in your profile. There are a ton of different badges with a ton of different progressions. On screen right now is a list of all of the badge types. In addition, the badges are now revamped with new visuals to look a little bit cooler. Now, in addition to these being shown on your profile, these badges are also shown in a new badges tab that you can see here. The next thing you may notice is that there is a new type of badge called the Card Mastery badge. This is going to be a brand new feature in this update, and it adds a little bit more incentive to get players to play more cards. As you can see, for each and every card, you're going to have a set of achievements that you're going to want to achieve using this card. May that be as simple as winning matches or dealing a certain amount of damage using one of your cards. Currently, the card tasks come in sets of 3, and currently I believe there are 2 sets of tasks that are going to be shipped out with this update. These tasks will also give you quite a bit of rewards when you actually complete them. The reward for each task is going to be shown here on the right. In general, it's going to either be copies of certain cards, copies of magic cards, as well as additional gold. In my eyes, this is actually a super amazing feature. Not only does it give more incentives for players to play all different types of decks, it's also insanely helpful to boost player progression as well. So all in all, this is a change that I am extremely excited for. Next up, a new champion called the Mighty Miner is coming to the game. It is a 4 elixir tanky champion that deals damage similar to an Inferno Dragon. I mean, just look at this guy go at a tower. He just absolutely tears apart tanky units. In addition to this, he has an ability called Explosive Escape that causes him to drop a bomb and then escape to the opposite lane. This is actually a completely crazy ability, especially for double lane pressure decks, because you can just very easily switch from one lane to the other lane with just a 2 elixir ability. As soon as the update drops, there will be a challenge for you guys to play the Mighty Miner, so I cannot wait for you guys to get your hands on this card in game. Finally, there are a set of 13 balances coming with the release of this update, and trust me, there are some good ones. Let's get right into it. The Mirror. Mirrored cards now get 2 additional levels. That's right, we are finally going to be seeing level 15 elite barbarians making it into the game. This mirror rework is absolutely insane. Whenever you mirror a card, you now get 2 additional levels. That is absolutely crazy. I'm sure all of you guys that play on ladder know just how impactful an additional 2 levels can be on a card, so this is a huge change for the mirror. Golden Knight. Dash range increased from 5 to 6. Dash chain stops once a tower is reached. Clash Royale basically reverted the nerf that they did to the Golden Knight, and they're actually making him a little bit more effective because not only can he dash from farther away, but it's also much harder for him to activate King Tower because his dash will now stop when he reaches a tower. This means that if the Golden Knight connects to your Crown Tower, he's gonna immediately start hacking at it and dealing tons of damage, which I think will honestly make him one of the best cards in the new upcoming meta. Giant Skeleton. Hit speed plus 7%, hit points plus 7%. The Giant Skeleton also got nerfed a little bit too much in the previous update. This is actually a pretty sizable increase in the Giant Skeleton stats. Very excited to see some interesting decks with the Giant Skeleton. Archers. Hit speed plus 9%. Now this honestly doesn't seem like too big of a change. Obviously, the archers will be better with swarms and deal a little bit more damage, but in all of my testing, I honestly could not find a single difference. But hey, at the end of the day, 9% is 9%. Ice Spirit. Freeze duration plus 0.3 seconds. The Ice Spirit now has an additional feature that separates him from the Electro Spirit. The Ice Spirit will now freeze units for an extended period of time. This increased freeze duration is extremely noticeable, and in many cases will buy you much more time compared to something such as an Electro Spirit. So honestly, I really like this change because there is a clear separation of situations where you would want to use an Ice Spirit versus an Electro Spirit. Tombstone spawn rate minus 5%. The Tombstone has become one of, if not the best building right now in Clash Royale. It is seen in so many different decks, and therefore we're going to decrease the amount of skeletons that the Tombstone spawns just by a little bit so that he is not as defensively effective. Ram Rider, snare speed reduction from 85% to 70%. Now what this change means is that when the Ram Rider snares the opponent's units, they're going to start moving a little bit faster. As you can see in the gameplay in the background, the balloon is actually moving quite a bit faster compared to the previous Ram Rider, meaning the Ram Rider won't be as much of a catch-all defense in terms of slowing down the opponent's troops. Archer Queen, ability hit speed boost from 200% to 180. This is a nerf to the Archer Queen's ability, and it means that she won't be able to take out swarms as effectively as before. In my eyes, it's not that big of a nerf, but it definitely is noticeable as well, so definitely expect to see a bit of a decrease in the Archer Queen's popularity. Graveyard, -1 skeleton. With Graveyard completely taking over this current meta, Graveyard is finally seeing a well-deserved nerf. This one decreased skeleton actually means the Graveyard will do a lot less damage overall, and so it's definitely an archetype that I expect to see a little bit less going into the following meta. Valkyrie, hit points -4%. Now personally, I didn't think the Valkyrie was too big of an issue, but according to Supercell, it was probably one of the most used mini tanks in the game. But this nerf essentially just gives players more incentive to use other mini tanks such as the Knight or the Ice Golem. Mega Knight, spawn damage -20%. Mid-ladder players rejoice unless you use the Mega Knight. The Mega Knight is getting a nerf and it's spawn damage only. His jump damage will be remaining the same. Obviously, this is not too big of a nerf, but the Mega Knight will no longer be as effective when played reactively. So you're going to have to be a little bit more careful and not completely rely on your Mega Knight to defend every single type of push. Elixir Collector rework. +1 elixir at destruction. Duration -5 seconds. Elixir generation 0.5 seconds slower. I'm calling it right now. This is a huge rework to the Elixir Collector. With +1 elixir at destruction, the Elixir Collector will still spawn 8 elixir like previously if you just completely ignore the collector, but now the Elixir Collector is at the very least guaranteed an extra elixir when destroyed. This means that if you use any spell on the Elixir Collector aside from the Earthquake, it's actually going to be a negative elixir trade. Honestly, I think this is a really good change for the collector, and I'm excited to see if it actually is going to find its place in some upcoming decks. Electro Giant rework. Cost reduced from 8 to 7. Damage -15%. Hit points -15%. Now, Supercell is essentially just reworking the Electro Giant to 7 elixir. This means that the Electro Giant will officially be the first 7 elixir ground win condition, which allows for a little bit more versatile deck building around the card itself. However, the decreased damage and HP is significantly noticeable, and he will die a lot quicker than before. So I am interested to see how the new meta will shift around this change. So there we go. Aside from a few other small quality of life changes, that is the update in a nutshell. Let me know what you think of it in the comment section below, and I'll see you guys next time.